All right, looks like we're recording. Excellent. Okay, so today we have our 512 lesson, 512. And this is kind of related to what we were doing in Desmos. Remember, we were playing with the transformation game where, we were flipping things, rotating things. We were compressing it, elongating it, dilating it. And these are all, oh, you need another mix? Just kidding. Let me pause it to resume. Perfect. Okay, so we're talking about similar to what we were doing in the transformations game we played, and it's still available. It is available in the assignments. Okay, so check that out. But what we were doing, we were doing all kinds of transformations. All right, all the ones I was mentioning, a rotation, when you flip it, right? Uh, um, when you reflect it, when you move it, that's translating. There's all these things we're going to get into. Today we're just talking about translations. Okay, and I think of a translation. A translation is the exact same shape moved to another location. So it's like a word in one language. It has the same meaning. It's just in a different language. It's moved over. It's the exact same word. Okay, and that is what we're talking about with translation. That was just an analogy, but it's basically, it's a change in position. It slides to another position, and it's isometric. That's kind of a new word for folks, but isometric just means the same shape. And we're going to keep talking about same shape, and there's another special word we learned that's called congruent, and we'll talk about that more and more. It's not hugely important right now, but just know that when translations, we're talking about translations, it's isometric, it's the same shape, it's just moved, it's just slid over to another position. The starting position is the pre-image, the final position is the image, and we also denote that this corner right here, this vertex is A, and we would call it instead A prime with that little quotation mark there, okay? So that is how we label prime for each point. Okay, so this is B prime. That's how we would say it. This is B, part of the pre-image. B prime, part of the image. That's the after. Okay, before and after. Pre means before. After, that's just image. So describe the translation above. Can anybody tell me, or describe in your own words, how did it go from the pre-image to the image? What happened? What happened? And maybe even how you knew that. So I need some responses in the chat. In the chat, how did you go from the red image to the blue image? What'd you do? What do you think? Did you move it up? Did you move it to the left? Went down. Okay, so there's a movement down. But that doesn't get it all the way to the blue. Then what happened? Oh, I like this. I like this. Jacqueline says you move down 1 square and then to the right 7 squares. And the way that you can look at that is if you just focus on one of the points. So I look at A. Since it's isometric, I know that A is going to move, C is going to move, B is going to move, all in the exact same way. So if I look at A, I see that it goes down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're actually going to call that a transformation of a translation of 7, negative 1. 7 for X, negative 1 for Y. And we'll talk about that more as we go. But let's just actually, before we get into the table method, let's go ahead and play some miniature golf. What? Yes. All right, so for our miniature golf, we are going to start to label these in a specific way, and we'll talk about it again when we get down here, when we get into the labeling part. But the way we're going to label this is, let's look. Here's the ball at negative 3, 2. Okay, that's where we're starting. Now, we want to get it right in the hole. We want to get in hole number 1. Okay, so how are we going to move this red dot right here? How are we going to move it to get in the hole? So first, I want you to get in the habit of explaining the change in the X and then the change in the Y. Okay, so the change in the X and the change in the Y is going to be how we're going to talk about it. If you say X first, then you always you have it in the ordered pair form already. So how does this red dot move side to side and then up and down to get a hole in 1 in hole number 1? Okay, so everybody go ahead and answer that, please. We're moving our ball here. That's the starting place. And how are we going to get in hole 1, right next to the Eiffel Tower and the Sphinx? All right, good, good. Thank you, Remy, Isabel. Awesome, Devin. I like how you said that. Good. Good, Dylan. Isabel, Remy, Devin, thank you for all those. Who else did I miss? Yeah, Jacqueline, good job. All right, I see some good stuff here. I see that the x goes -2, 1, 2. And then what happens with the y? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, so the x is -2, the y is +6. And that's how we get that ball in that hole. Okay? So we're going to write it this way. You don't have to write these down yet. We're going to have practice later, but we're going to write it as the transformation, the translation, right? And we had -2 for x, we had 6 for y. And then we'll write xy. And what this is saying is the xy value went -2 for x from its starting point and then +6 for y. That's how we write the translation, okay? And if you're confused or you forget which letter is which, just remember it's xy, so is this. This is x and this is y, okay? So let's go ahead and say we got a hole in 1. Boom, hole in 1, done. Good. All right, so now let's go from the shot is hole 1, number 1, to hole number 2, okay? So how are we gonna go from hole number 1 to hole number 2? Good, I like that. I like that notation, Isabel. That's good. So how do we go from here to here? Remember, we talk about the x movement, left to right first, and then we talk about up and down, or y movement. So what is it going to be? You're going to go exactly from hole 1, exactly to hole 2. Down, then slide to the right. Down, then slide to the right. Good. Good. Dylan, I like how you said that. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I like what Dylan said here. I'm going to just point it out. Dylan said we're going to go +4 to the right with the x. +4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go -1 for y. Down 1. Okay. So the way that I'd write that again, if I'm going +4 and then down 1, I'm going to write this as this. Translation of +4, -1 for the x and the y coordinate. Because this has a coordinate, right? This has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -5 and 8. So what this is saying is -5, we add 4, and then +8, we -1, and we get down to the next hole. Nice, Isabel. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, let's go ahead and do it for the shot from hole number 2 to hole number 3. How are we going to go from here? Over the boat, hole in 1, hole number 3. What's that going to be? Remember, we're always going to list it this way. We're going to say T, and then it's kind of a subscript. They're smaller numbers, a little lower. It's hard to do that typing, but we're going to have the X and the Y. Remember, it's always the X and it's the Y, just like a point, just alphabetically. All right, Isabel. Good. All right, Nati, we're going down, though, for the Y, so change that up for me. Jacqueline, same thing. I like 2 for X, but we're going down for the Y. Yep, good, Jacqueline. All right, I like what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a lot of folks saying, for X, we go +2. For Y, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, negative XY. Okay? Nice, Nati. I better keep this on. I got to get used to it. I'm wearing my glasses. All right, so now the last hole. I want you to think about how are we going to go from hole number 3 to hole number 4. I want everybody to answer. I wish there was a button I could push to force you to answer. And you might say, I'm not doing it. Someone else will. It's fine. But, if you can figure it out, you have to push between 3 and 5 keys and then the return key. So how do we go from hole 3 to hole 4? Everyone could do it. Unless it's just you don't want to do anything. And go with that life philosophy till it doesn't work. All right. Thank you. Look at all these answers. Wow, yeah. Yes. And it's hard to see. It might be hard to count them on my screen. All right, Jacqueline, I like that one. Isabel, good. Dylan, good. Devin, double check your X movement, your X translation. Yep, there you go. All right, look. What is the X movement? Positive 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. What is the Y movement? We're even here, so we go down 2, negative 2. XY. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So that is our first miniature golf challenge. By the end of the class, there's one Desmos, or by the end of this kind of lesson segment with transformations, there's a Desmos where you have to flip it, rotate it, translate it, do all these things that in order to get the shape into the hole. It's kind of cool. That's what inspired this a little bit. Okay. So let's back off and look now at this, because this is a little more complicated, right? Before, all we were doing was moving the A. We were moving 1 point, okay? Moving 1 point to get to the other point. So we have to organize it with a table. We have to do a little bit more organizing, because now we're moving 3 different points. But the good thing about it is that all the points move the same. Look, I even wrote it down here. T, translation, 7, negative 1 means that C went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then negative 1 to get to C prime. A went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then down negative 1 to get to A prime. B went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down 1 to get to B prime, okay? So once you figure out the translation, then you just have to convert where the point is and where it's going, okay? That's how you find the actual image point, because we need to find not just where it's located, but where is A prime? And you could see here A prime is at 2, negative 2. But we're going to figure out a method using the table method, okay? So we're applying T, translation, 7, negative 1 to X and Y to the following points, okay? These are our pre-image points. All of these come from up here, okay? These are all the points for this triangle. So first step is to write what the translation is doing. And you want to think of this as like one thing at a time. Forget the other parts here. But add to your table right now, we're going to add translation, 7, negative 1 of our point. Okay? We're translating the point A in order to find what A prime is. So look what we're doing. We're going to apply positive 7 to negative 5. We're going to apply negative 1 to negative 1. And this is where the conversion comes. I want you to make a big ordered pair. We started with negative 5 and negative 1. And then we are adding 7 to X. We're minusing 1 from Y. You see? So we write what the translation is going to be. This is going to be identical for the translation, 7, negative 1. But we're going to apply it to A. We're going to then apply it to B, then to C. So A prime is what? 2, negative 2. And we can double check if that's true. Where is A prime? It's at 1, 2, and negative 2. Boom, we got it. Okay? The table method's really important. The table method's really important to organize this information. Okay. All right, let's see what's next. We're going to translate B to B prime. So we're going to do the same translation, 7, negative 1, and we're going to apply it to this point. Okay? Let's go ahead and open it up. We started with negative 3, negative 1. So remember, the point that we are translating is our point B. So that's what I put here. Okay. This red that I'm always adding here, this is the 7, negative 1. 7, negative 1. Translation of 7, negative 1. So I'm going to put that there. 7, positive 7 for X, negative 1 for Y. All right? So what do we have then? We have B prime is 4, negative 2. Yes. All right, go ahead and do C prime on your own. If you feel like you got it down. Make sure you're using the table. Don't skip doing the table. There's no reason to not use a table. It's much harder if you don't have a table. Okay? because there's a lot of information to organize. So we're going to do this again. And we're going to use the table so that we don't have to stress ourselves. Nice, Dylan. All right, let's set up our conversion area, -3, 2. Remember that the numbers that are from the pre-image starting out here, and then what we're doing is we're adding 7 from x, we're minusing 1 from y. You see every time I'm doing it the same way. C prime then is what? 4, 1. Oh, that's what that means. See, it's just a matter of the notation, learning what it's about. I think the miniature golf helped us with that. Okay. Guys, let's check in right now on a scale from 1 to 5. How do you feel about this topic so far? So far? What you think? Good, good, good. Nice, nice. Excellent. 4s and 5s. Okay, and if it's a 3, no worries. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, if you need a screenshot of this page, I'm going to give you a chance right now. 3, 2, 1, screenshot. And then we're going to do one example problem that is very similar to the homework, and then I'll show you the homework, and we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So let's see. Let's do this example problem. If you have graph paper, go ahead and follow along with me. Just make a real easy graph. And we're going to do another triangle. We'll make the triangle 3 by 2. Let's put it upright like this. Okay. That's a really bad triangle. There. Oh wait, did I do it too much? Oh shoot. It's that's fine. Okay. All right, so get to that point. Get that point ready. Let me get something else ready over here in the back end. All right, so for our homework, let me just go ahead and trace this so that I can move it and have it in another position. All right, for our homework, it's going to have this, and we still have to make a table. So go ahead and next to it, let's go ahead and make our table with the pre-image, and we're getting points. This is going to be the translation. This is going to be our conversion of the point. And this is going to be the prime image. Okay. So let's label these points. Let's label it A, B, C. Okay. So right off the bat, I can look and figure out, okay, well, no, let's not go right off the bat. Let's look at this one part at a time. All right, this is gonna have kind of a prompt. It's gonna say, you know, the triangle translates. Let's say right 3 and down 2. Okay, that's gonna be the prompt. You know, this is gonna be the question. They're gonna give you something like that, and we have to for the homework. We have to find the new position of the shape and find all the prime points, all of A prime, B prime, C prime. So where the triangle ends up, we're going to have to find the actual coordinates for each point. So I think it's going to be helpful. Of course, we're going to have to figure out, okay, where is A? A is at -1, 2. Okay, that's A right here. -1, 2. Where's B? B right there is at -1, 2, 3, and 2. Where's C? C is at -1, 2, 3, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's A, B, and C, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in my table here. I'm going to put A is -1, 2, B is -3, 2, C is -3, 5. Okay. So our translation that we're going to do, go ahead and tell me, what is the translation going to be? What is the translation going to be if it goes to the right 3 and down 2? So we have this. We got to figure out what this means. What does to the right 3 and down 2 mean for a translation? I think. T what? Just like over here, remember, we had an example. We had T goes to the right 7 and down 1. So T 7, negative 1. But what's this one going to be? To the right 3 and down 2. Thank you, Jacqueline. That's perfect. 3, comma, negative 2. And we're going to apply that to negative 1, 2. We're going to apply that to our point A. So all this is, if it's going to the right 3, it's going positive 3. If it's going down 2, it's going negative 2. This notation here, T of that, just tells us the translation is going to the right 3, down 2. So now we have to apply that. Let's go to make our big ordered pair. Let's put the value that we have to start our pre-image. Okay. And then what are we doing? We're adding 3. We're subtracting 2. A prime. A prime is then going to be 2, 0. All right. So now we know where A prime is. We're eventually going to go ahead and plot that location and everything. But this is exactly what the homework is going to have you do. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. We still are using the exact same translation, so we're going to write that out first, negative 3, 2, and then make my big ordered pair, negative 3 and 2. Because we're translating point B now. The reason why I'm translating and I have a negative 3 and a 2 here is because I'm applying the translation to my point B. Okay. And the numbers are really similar, but don't even worry about that. Just know I'm doing this translation of point B. What is point B? Oh, that's point B. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the translation. Plus 3 minus 2. Where does this end up? B prime is where? It's at the origin. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. B is right. B prime is at the origin. All right, I'm just going to write this part here. I want you in the chat to tell me what is C prime as the last question for the lesson. Everybody go ahead and tell me what is C prime going to be as I work this out. Same method, same method. Okay, so tell me what C prime is as kind of like the exit ticket for this class. Yeah? All right. It looks like I have some different answers coming up. All right, everybody watch this because I see 07, 03, and 05. So look, we are looking, remember, what number goes here? I'm applying this transformation to negative 3, 5. So first I put in the negative 3 and the 5. Okay. That's what the point is. The red that I'm writing here is the transformation. The translation is 3, negative 2. Plus 3, minus 2. Good, nothing. Okay, I'm seeing the answer now. Perfect. All right, C prime, negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Everyone got that. 5 minus 2. Oh, that's not that hard of a problem. 5 minus 2. I think that was just like a little error there. Okay. So these are our new prime points. These are the points that create the new image. Okay, the prime. This is the image. So what we have here is actually, let's see if we can get it. Okay. So I'm taking it from the pre-image and I'm moving it to the right 3 and then down 2. Let's see if this makes sense. Okay. Because this is going to be, let me go ahead and write that in here. This is going to be A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay. And where does it end up? B prime is at the origin 0, 0. A prime is at 2, 0. C prime is at 0 for x, 3 for y. So I think we got our image. Okay, so go ahead and draw this image in there. You don't have to put the points for A, B, and C prime. Just label them A prime, B prime, C prime. And we've done a translation successfully. Aha! Okay, and one thing, Isabel, this let me just text back to you. So this is C prime. It's like the it's right next to the not C1, just so you know. You see what I mean? It's the, instead of the quotation mark, it's the, what is the 1 dash called? I don't know. In math, it's prime. Okay. It's right next to the enter key. All right, cool. I didn't know if anyone misunderstood that. So it's not C1, it's C prime, which is kind of like the exclamation mark. It's like this key. I'm just saying this for everyone right now, Isabel. I think everyone needs to know it. It's like the same key as that, but it's not shifted. It's that key. Okay. So C prime is different than C1. It's not C1, it's C prime. All right, make sure you got that. The prime is just that button next to the enter key. All right, let's do a check-in on a scale from 1 to 5. How you feeling about this? How's this looking for you? Yeah, got it? Okay. Okay, good. I see some improvements on our numbers. I think we just needed a little more practice. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video.